Hello everyone, my name is Vikram and this is a small webinar on some common misconceptions about Vedic astrology, what I'm calling as some myths that I think it's good if we can take a look at them, and I will share my views about it. I find it very important that we have a common understanding about certain important concepts that affect our sessions, in case you're considering doing astrology sessions with me, or in case you want to study astrology with me. Then again, addressing some of these misconceptions becomes very crucial. So yeah, let me share all this with you. And before we begin, let's do a small grounding. Let's put our phones on silent mode. I'm putting mine on do not disturb. Make ourselves available for the next hour or so, or maybe a little less than that. Let's see how long it takes. Yeah. If I can ask you all to please find your feet on the floor. Sense if your back is straight. If you're comfortable, you can close your eyes, or you can just lower your gaze. I'm closing my eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Just become aware of how you're breathing today. How fast or slow are you breathing? How deep or shallow is your breath? If you can now slow down your breathing a little bit, make it slightly longer, slightly deeper, till you find the gap in between the in-breath and the out-breath. Let's synchronize our breathing now. I'll tell you what I'm doing. See if you can follow along. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Let's breathe in together and let go. One more time, breathing in and releasing. Come back to normal breathing. And now let's take a moment to call upon the highest, the most divine, the most spiritual to come and be with us, to guide us, to protect us, and to show us the way. Slowly come back to your breath. Become aware of where you are seated. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back, everyone. This is a small webinar on the misconceptions, what I regard as misconceptions about Vedic astrology, right? About astrology in general. And in order to address these myths, I would like to share a small presentation and along with it, an analogy. Right? I'm sharing my screen. You should be able to see my screen now. Yeah. So here's the analogy. Imagine that you have purchased a brand new car. Yeah. It's a fantastic car, fluorescent red in color. It's a Lamborghini. Yeah. And you've been driving it all these years, but it seems to keep going to one direction, right? It's tugging towards one direction, and you keep putting pressure and energy to keep the car on the road. And this has been going on for several years. And then you happen to meet an astrologer, like maybe me, maybe someone else, and the astrologer asks you, when did you buy this car? Where did you buy it? And tell me exactly what time you bought it. And they make a few calculations and they say, oh my, you know, the cars that came out of that showroom in that batch, they all had a flat tire. A revelation. Now you understand why the car has been pulling you to one side. It's not driving straight. Because there was something about the batch of cars that came out of that showroom or that manufacturing facility, whatever it is, they all had a certain defect. Defect, well, it's a flat tire. Now the ball is in your court, right? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to let it be? Or are you going to take the time to learn how to change that tire, to stop the car and change that tire? It's the same thing with astrology. Every birth, right? Every person, including the highest, the most realized, and the masses, all of us, there are certain challenges with every planet at birth. There are certain challenges with how a birth chart is. What are we going to do about it? That is what I am more interested in. Yeah? Can we empower you to take control of your life, of this fantastic car, and fix that flat tire? Because if you did, you're going to have one beautiful car which can drive so well. Right? Otherwise, it's going to have this shadow side to it that, if not addressed, it's not going to make your driving so smooth. Many times I get clients asking me, why? Why is my life so difficult? Just tell me that. Right? I just want to know what's making my life so bad. Yes, we can take a look at your chart. We can diagnose your chart just as we can diagnose the car and tell you what exactly is the problem. Ah, there's a flat tire. Oh, this brake needs extra oil, or whatever it may be. We can diagnose the problem. But what will you do about it? How can you take matters into your own hands and fix what is not working? Right? Just knowing that you have a flat tire is not going to fix it. Unless you stop the car, take out the spare tire, and actually go and change it. Is it not? At this time, generally, clients tell me that everything is predestined. Everything is written in the stars. There is nothing I can do about it. This is how several of us have been brought up. But just examine that statement that everything is predestined and everything is written in the stars. It's like saying that if there's a flat tire, when the car came out of the factory, for the entire duration, it's going to be a flat tire. It's not the case, right? Whatever the problem may be with the car, it can be fixed. Sometimes it takes more money and more effort and more energy. Say, for instance, if the engine itself is defective, it takes more time and more energy to replace that engine, but it can be done. Sometimes the issues are small, like a flat tire. Sometimes the challenges are much bigger. But we can change our innate nature, what we call as vasanas. Sometimes they are very strong, but sometimes we need to put our energy and effort to changing our vasanas. Yeah? So the fact that you have a flat tire, that is fate. That cannot be changed. When the car came out of the manufacturing facility, it had a flat tire. There's nothing we can do about that. But now that we know that there is a flat tire, we can change it. That decision rests with us. This is a very important concept, right? The concept of fate and free will. So let's spend a little more time on this. One view is that everything is predetermined and written in the stars. That is one view. The other extreme is that everything is based on free will. The other extreme, fate and free will. I believe that both exist. That is my worldview. Right? How do I make sense of this? For me, whatever has happened is fate. Yeah? The past is fate. Whatever is yet to happen, it has not yet formed. But the decision about what will form lies with me. There is free will in the present moment that determines the future. Yeah? Now, this present moment is conditional, is dependent on the past moments. Yeah? The past determines my current, my present moment. So it's not that I have a free slate, a blank canvas. I wish I did. We don't have a blank canvas. We have a canvas that already has something written or painted on it. Now we have the choice about what more to add or how to change some things that's already on the canvas. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a very important concept, and this will change your approach to astrology, either in receiving sessions or in reading your own chart, because I believe that we have free will, a different extent. Each of us have free will to a different extent, but we have the free will to determine the next steps, the next course of action, to determine how life will continue to unfold. So the statement that everything is predestined, I don't agree. There are some things that are predestined and some things that I have control over. You look at the Bhagavad Gita, right, where Krishna speaks to Arjuna. Arjuna does not want to fight. Krishna speaks to him and tells him many different things about why he should take a certain course of action, right? Essentially, he speaks for 17, 18 chapters. And in the 18th chapter, he tells Arjuna, Arjuna, I have told you everything. Now you decide. Yeah? Krishna does not say everything is predestined. Whether you fight or not, this is what's going to happen. No. Krishna tells Arjuna to take up his weapon and take action. But the choice is with you, Arjuna, he says. Right? You decide what you want to do. I have told you everything. Now the decision rests with you. There is both fate and free will. Take a few moments to reflect on this statement that both exist, because that is going to determine how you receive what I'm going to share with you in subsequent slides. On a similar line of thought, many people tell me bad planets means a bad life. It's based on the same assumption that everything is predestined. And just as I don't accept that everything is predestined, I don't accept that bad planets means a bad life. Right? What exactly is the birth chart? Now, the birth chart is how the planets were placed when you were born. That is way back in the past. It is not how the planets are placed today. That is known as the transit chart. Right? It's the combination of the two, the birth chart and the transit chart, that determines several things. So, let's say, for instance, the planets were placed poorly at birth. You can take action on it. You can rectify it. Right? Say, for instance, you take a blood report, right? And the blood report says you have, I don't know, cholesterol, right? And you've taken this several years ago. Over time, because of that realization that you have cholesterol, you change your lifestyle, you change your diet, and you address that cholesterol problem. Now, when you go back to the doctor, you have to take a fresh blood report, is it not? You cannot show the blood report from 40 years ago. It's the same thing here. The transit chart plays a big role. If I look at the birth chart, it will continue to say the same thing, even when you have taken certain actions, just as looking at an outdated blood report. If we come back to this analogy of a flat tire doesn't mean that the car is bad forever, right? Planets may have been placed poorly at birth, but they keep moving around the sun. Bad planets at birth mean a difficult start. But if you can take certain actions and change your character, right? Change that innate nature in us, then we are addressing bad planets. Well, bad planets, it's not really bad, right? These planets, they are devatas, right? They are the gods of the skies. They are inherently good, even though we use very strong language saying benefic and malefic. They are here to teach us something. Let us look at the planets as teachers, right? And then it'll change your experience about life, about astrology a lot. Several clients ask me for a gemstone. Just tell me which gemstone to use. Give me one gemstone that will address all my problems. For me, this is actually a misconception. I think gemstones can be selected based on what you want to achieve. In terms of the analogy, gemstone is like adding premium fuel. It's great for the performance of the car. But if your problem is with a flat tire, then you need to change the tire. Even if you were to add better quality fuel, it's not going to fix the bad tire. Yeah. So when people ask me for gemstones, I usually ask them what is it that they're trying to achieve from that. And then I recommend a gemstone, right? Specific for that purpose. Yeah? Sometimes, when we rely on gemstones, there is a tendency to outsource the problem. Oh, the gemstone will take care of this problem. Right? I believe that we need to take charge of the problem. We need to change ourselves in order to face these problems, these issues in life. The teachings of the Vedas and even of the Buddha is that all our actions have consequences and we need to bear the effects of our actions in one way or another. There is a certain belief that grace, prayer, God, something divine, can take care of these problems. There may be some truth to that. I believe that grace, God, the divine, gives me the strength and the courage to face these problems. Yeah. So rather than outsourcing the problem to someone else to take care or something else to take care, can I take the bull by its horns and say, this is what my birth chart is saying, these are my shadow sides, this is what I need to do to make myself better? Can we use the birth chart as a means for self-growth? Astrology, Vedic astrology, is part of the Vedas. The intention behind the Vedas is self-realization, which means the intention behind astrology should also be the same thing, right? Astrology, Vedic astrology, is a Vedanga. It's a limb of the Vedas. Can Vedic astrology assist me, just as a limb does, to do what the Vedas are asking me to do? To realize my true nature. That, for me, is the ultimate purpose of Vedic astrology. At this time, when I share this with people, generally, many of them will say, astrology is not a science. I agree. Astrology is not a science. For me, astrology is a language. The English language is not a science. The French language is not a science. But I still study the French language because I want to speak to the French. Can I study astrology to speak with the stars and planets? Astrology is a divine language for me. A language that I can use to communicate with something that is not human. Can we approach astrology as a language and not be bothered about whether it is a science or not? Because you see, what's happening over here is that people don't believe in astrology. But the problem with that statement is they are mixing up the practitioner with the discipline. Can we differentiate between astrology and the astrologer? Just as we differentiate between the doctor and the science. The doctor is practicing a certain science. The science is perfect. The doctor could have made a mistake. And that is why we take a second opinion. In the same way, can we differentiate between astrology and the astrologer? Astrology is perfect, but the astrologer has a long way to go. The person practicing astrology has a long way to go. We say that it takes a very long time. It's a lifelong study to master this subject of astrology, this language of astrology. So when you go to an astrologer, listen to what this person says and then take a second opinion. Don't doubt astrology, doubt the astrologer. Yeah? Just as a mechanic, right? You can listen to one mechanic and then take your car to another mechanic and see what that second mechanic has to say. So belief or not in astrology, it's a misconception, right? And here's the other reason why I tell you to believe in astrology and doubt the astrologer. Because the same people who gave us the Vedas, the same people who gave us Ayurveda, the science of health, the same people who gave us the Yoga Shastras are the ones who have given us Vedic astrology. Right? The one who has given us the Bhagavad Gita, Vyasa. He was the son, he is the son of Parashara, Maharishi Parashara, who taught Vyasa everything he knows. And it's Parashara who has given us astrology. Vyasa has included so much of astrology in the Mahabharata. The same people who have given us the Gita and the Upanishads are the ones who have given us Vedic astrology. So let's not doubt the validity of Vedic astrology, the beauty of this language. But let's question who's speaking that language. Here's a commonly assumed fact that astrologers can predict the future. I think that it's better we restrict our diagnosis of the birth chart to what was in the past and empower the client to take certain actions. Predictions are not empowering the client. Imagine you go to a doctor and the doctor gives you a certain medicine and the doctor says, take this medicine if you want to get well, right? The doctor does not say when you will or not get well. That is a prediction. Prediction is something about the future, right? What I would like to use the birth chart for is to understand character of the person and to help them take action to improve certain aspects of that character or to use the strengths in their character as they go about their day-to-day life. In terms of the analogy, just because the car had a flat tire when you purchased it does not mean to say that it will have a flat tire forever. Yeah, you can fix it. That is why I don't want to make predictions, because you may have fixed that flat tire. How can I look at the initial starting conditions and tell you what's going to happen in the future? I don't know if you have fixed that flat tire or not. And that happens because I believe in free will. I believe in fate and free will. Supposing I did not believe in free will, supposing I said there is only fate, everything is predetermined, then I can go and make predictions. I can say this is what's going to happen because there is nothing you can do about it. But that is not my worldview. I don't believe in such a world. I believe we have certain amount of control, a certain amount of free will in our hands, and I can make choices based on that free will. So I want to empower you, the client, or I want to show you, the learner, how to read the initial starting conditions. So then you can take action. I want to empower you. Imagine what would happen if I gave a prediction, if I said this is what's going to happen. I'm completely removing all form of agency from you. You will say, I don't need to study for my exam. Vikram has told me that I will pass. I don't need to study. That can't work, right? If I tell you you're going to find a job, if I make a prediction into the future, you will end up saying, I'm not going to look for a job. Vikram said, I will find a job. I will find a job. No, you need to take certain actions. So I want to empower you to take actions. So what I should say is, hey, if you want to find a job, this is the route you can take. These are the steps you need to do based on your birth chart. Just like looking at the initial starting conditions of the car, I tell you, hey, if you want to drive better and safer, you need to change this tire. Yeah, I'm looking at the batch of cars. I know what happened at that time with that batch of cars, and I'm giving you solutions, remedies to improve the condition of the car. Many people have this question. What about twins? Two people born at the same time, at the same place, in the same, at the same time, date, whatever. What about twins? What do you have to say? Yes, twins have identical birth charts. Their innate nature will be the same. Yeah, what we call as vasanas, strong tendencies will be the same. But each person, each twin will end up meeting different people in their lives, which will make them interact with a different person, which leads to different events. We need to separate, we need to distinguish between an event and the character of the person. The birth chart tells us about the character. How the birth chart interacts with the transit chart tells us about the event. Yeah. So twins meet different people, and that takes them on very different life journeys, even though their inner nature will be very, very similar. It's like saying two Lamborghinis from the same batch are similar in all respects, but they go on different roads. And because they go on different roads, they face different obstacles and they wear out differently. Yeah. Here's another common misconception that the birth chart determines everything. Like I have been sharing, the birth chart only tells us how the planets were placed when you were born. Yeah? We can take action on that, and that will change how we experience life. It's like buying a car, right? The car, when you purchased it, is just the beginning. The initial starting conditions is just the beginning. How you maintain the car, how you take care of the car is as important as its original condition. You know, another way to look at the same thing, the birth chart determines the character of the person. The transit chart determines the events. So when we say the birth chart determines everything, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that holds. Sometimes I have people look at their birth charts and tell me, oh, I have several signs with no planets in them. That's okay. That's okay. There are 9 planets and there are 12 signs. So there will be some empty signs. You know, I have a house and I have an office. I'm here sitting in my office. That means my house is empty, right? It's the same thing. Planets go around the sun, and as they go around, they will leave certain signs, certain constellations empty, so to speak. But we have techniques to analyze those, and you don't need to be concerned if certain signs or constellations in your birth chart don't have any planets. So this is not a misconception. There will definitely be some signs without any planets in them. It's okay. That's all I'm saying. It's okay. Nothing to worry about. Very often, I get people who don't know their exact time of birth. And they are concerned that astrology cannot help. Right? It's like saying my Google Maps is not working. I don't know my starting point. It's okay. We can still reach the destination navigating using different landmarks, maybe certain buildings or certain trees or certain kind of roads. I can navigate differently to my destination, right? So it's okay if you don't have your exact time of birth. The astrologer has different techniques to address such situations. At the end of the day, reaching your destination is as important as your initial starting point. Yeah? It helps if you know your exact time of birth, but in case you don't, it's okay. Astrology can still help. My Lagnadipati is a malefic. Ooh. Lagnadipati, Lagna Pati. Lagna meaning ascendant, Pati meaning the Lord. So Lagnadipati means the Lord of my ascendant, right? Is a malefic. Malefic means not good. Not to worry about. It's like saying I have a very powerful engine, so I need to use it in a suitable car, or I need to drive it in a certain way, right? You need special skills to handle a powerful engine. Same way with a very malefic or a very powerful Lagnadipati. You need to know how to work with that energy. An astrologer can help. Rahu Ketu are bad. Aha, not really. Like I was sharing earlier, for me, planets are teachers. Right? It's like having a very powerful engine, right? You need to know how to use it. If you can control it, Rahu and Ketu can be powerful forces that can take you very far towards your destination. But you should know how to use those energies. So when we say Rahu Ketu are bad, for me that's a misconception. No planet for me is bad. They're all teachers. Did you know that every planet is associated with an avatar of Vishnu? How can an avatar of Vishnu be considered bad? Like Krishna says, he comes yuga after yuga to destroy the evil and to re-establish the good. And the way he comes is as an avatar. So how can an avatar be bad? On similar lines, I hear many people say Sade Sati, 7.5, retrogrades and eclipses are evil. No, I disagree. They are not evil. It's just that the conditions of the road are different, so you need to know how to navigate that road. Like, for instance, a road up a hill. It's different from driving on a freeway, on a highway. You need special skills to drive on a hill. If you can understand the terrain, you can navigate better. Right? And with my style of doing astrology, with this approach, this is what I want to show you. How to navigate Sade Sati, how to navigate a retrograde, how to navigate an eclipse. Okay? So if you're considering sessions with me, bring up these questions when we speak. If you are learning with me, this is exactly what we'll be addressing. How to drive in different terrain. Yeah. So that's a misconception for me. Here's another one. You need an astrologer for everything. No, not really. Just as you don't need a mechanic to start a car, right? You need a mechanic to diagnose the car, to diagnose what's going wrong. You need an astrologer for similar reasons. You need to understand what's going wrong, what can you do differently. But once you get the hang of it, I don't want you to be dependent on me. I want to empower you so you can take action on your own and You do it in an informed manner. So this for me is a misconception. Another huge one is matching of horoscopes, which people believe will guarantee a happy marriage. For me, this is a misconception. Right? Matching of horoscopes does not guarantee a happy marriage. It improves the chances of a happy marriage, but we have control over our present moment in order to take certain choices. And the choices we make from moment to moment has a huge impact on all areas of our life, including a marriage. It's like two people going on a journey. They may be compatible, but the way they drive will affect each other. Or imagine two cars setting out on a long distance journey, very compatible with each other. For instance, maybe one is a pickup truck that can take a lot of luggage, the other is, I don't know, an SUV that can take the family, and both set out on a long journey. How they interact with each other, how they maintain their speed so each is close to one another, things like that. How one supports the other when one vehicle is in need of the other. All this goes a long way to making that journey a more memorable experience, right? So matching of charts is a starting point. After that, you have to continue being aware about your partner, aware of yourself, alert and conscious. So matching horoscopes to guarantee a happy marriage, that's a misconception for me. 1/12 the population have the same sun sign. There are 12 sun signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and so on, all the way up till Pisces, 12 of them. So whatever the population, we can say 1/12 the population have the same sun sign. I agree. 1/12 the population have the same sun sign. So Vikram, are you saying that 1/12 the population is the same? No, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying every person is unique. Every person is unique. But they have the same sun sign, yes, but the person is unique. How? Because there are so many other things that go into making a birth chart. Just like a cycle has a steering wheel, a car has a steering wheel, a helicopter has a steering wheel. Are we saying that a cycle, a car, and a helicopter are all the same? No, they're all extremely different from each other. But the steering wheel is only one part of that vehicle. There are so many other things that make a cycle, a car, a car. The sun sign is only one thing in the birth chart. There are so many other planets, there are signs, there are avastas, there are aspects, there are so many other things. And when you take the combination of it all, no combination will repeat itself forever. It will not repeat. Every person is unique. And now, if your question is what about twins, then just rewind back the deck, right? We've addressed that misconception. Twins have similar birth charts, which leads to similar character, but they will both meet different people in their lives. They will both meet different events in their lives, which will make their life journeys very different, but their innate nature is the same. So this statement, 1/12 the population have the same sun sign, that is correct, but don't limit yourself to only how the sun is placed in the birth chart. Right? Doing that is Sunday newspaper astrology and not astrology. Sunday newspapers have given a lot of importance to the sun sign. The sun sign is important, but it's only one thing amongst several others. These were some of the misconceptions that I wanted to address. Let's kind of summarize, what does all this mean for practicing Vedic astrology? First, in my approach, there is fate and free will, fate and choice, destiny and free will, both exist. Right? That's the fundamental starting point, right? And this, I invite you to spend a lot of time in reflecting on the statement before subscribing to any view, either only fate or only choice or a combination. I'm not saying I am right and everybody else is wrong. I am saying this is my view, and I encourage you to have your own views after reflecting on it. Second, let's use astrology to guide people and to empower them to make choices rather than to predict the future and to restrict them. Let's give agency. Let's give them strength and courage to take steps on their path. That's actually the next one. Let's empower people to take actions for self-growth. Yeah. And to do that, we have to look at both the strengths and the weaknesses in the chart. Let's give equal importance to the strengths. All of us have so many strengths. Why focus only on the shadow side? Can we use the strengths to address the weaknesses? That can be so empowering. Next, very important, don't doubt astrology, right? Doubt the astrologer. The astrologer can make mistakes. I can make mistakes. But astrology is perfect. Differentiate the two. If I make a mistake, blame me for making that mistake. Don't blame astrology, right? Astrology is perfect. Let's use the birth chart as a guiding tool, yeah, to help people. Now, this is what I wanted to share. And if this kind of an approach resonates with you, then I would encourage you to consider joining my next program. It's starting in May, in a month, right? And I call it as Astrology 101. It's a one-year program. We meet online every week for 2 hours, and we decide the time slot together as a group. And I cover 4 pillars that I consider essential for reading a birth chart. The first pillar is astronomy. I show you the fundamentals of astronomy and explain to you how that plays a role in reading, interpreting a birth chart. The second pillar is mythology. Vedic mythology from the Itihasas, from the Puranas, stories from the Itihasas and Puranas. They have layers and layers of meaning. And if we can understand those layers and then link them to different planets and signs, it opens up a whole new world. It helps me understand the birth chart to so much more detail and brings out so many beautiful insights about the character of the person. So I'll be sharing a lot of Vedic mythology, right, in my first year program. The other pillar is Indian philosophy. We'll be doing a lot of Indian philosophy. I know that some of you are very well versed with concepts from Indian philosophy, but it's important that all of us are on the same page. I have learners from many different cultures, from many different backgrounds. So certain fundamental concepts, let's make sure we have a similar understanding of these concepts. So then when we interpret the birth chart, it becomes much easier, right? Concepts like, say, for instance, karma. So many layers of meaning to that word. What do I mean by karma? What do I mean by reincarnation? What do I mean by the soul? These are fundamental concepts when you start to interpret a birth chart, right? You need to have your own views about all these concepts. I will share mine, but you are welcome to have your own views, right? But certain concepts will help you go deeper into the birth chart. So Vedic philosophy, Indian philosophy is the third pillar. And of course, I'm going to also be sharing astrology, especially in the form of retreats. In the first year, there are 6 in-person retreats. You can call them as intensives. They are usually Thursday check-in and Sunday check-out. We will decide the dates together as a group and we meet in person. All these retreats are in South India, right? The retreats are for a different element. So when we meet for the fire element, we'll do several activities for fire to tap into the fire element in us. And then we go to the temple dedicated to the fire element, right? Fire, earth, air, water, and space. These are the 5 elements. So we have a retreat for each. And then we have one final retreat at the end of the year to close out the year. So that is the 6th retreat, right? So in summary, it's 1 year from May 2025. It's 2 hours per week. It is online, 6 retreats in person. They're not mandatory. It is optional if you want to attend the retreats. I have several learners who only join the online program because they live in other countries. They cannot travel for the retreats. It's okay. In case you are in India and you can travel, well and good. In case you miss a certain retreat, you can join the subsequent year for that same retreat. And yes, all my classes are recorded. So in case you lose out on a certain class because of scheduling conflict, you can catch up on the recording, right? I cover 4 pillars: astrology, astronomy, Indian philosophy, and Vedic mythology. That's the link with the registration form. If you're interested, please give me a call, ping me on WhatsApp, send me an email, or fill out the registration form, and we can take it from there. And oh yes, one more thing. This year, Astrology 101, this will be the last time that I will be doing it myself live, including the retreats. All subsequent Astrology 101s, I'll be hosting them online. So yeah, just want you to know that if you value that live interaction, then please take this opportunity and sign up for this program. Okay, that is what I had, and I see that it's almost an hour. Thank you for sharing this hour with me. I'll be happy to hear back from you. Yeah? Bye for now.